Hi, Endless Honeymoon Podcast listeners. We are doing a couple of very special live episodes of the Endless Honeymoon Podcast in a town near you. You excited, Tosh?
Well, it's my two favorite cities.
That's right. It's San Francisco and Portland, Oregon. In Portland, Oregon, we'll be there the weekend right before Christmas. We'll be doing regular stand-up Thursday through Saturday, and then on Sunday, we have a special live episode of the Endless Honeymoon Podcast with a special guest, Ian Carmel, and maybe even more special guests. Would you like to come? Buy a ticket. Would you like to be on it and not even have to buy a ticket? Email us, endlesshoneymoonpod@gmail.com, and say why you want to come on, what you need advice for. It'll be really fun. January, we are coming to San Francisco Sketch Fest at the Marines Memorial Theater with very special guests, and you can be a part of that as well. Buy a ticket, go to sfsketchfest.com, or email us, and you don't have to buy a ticket. You'll get in for free.
Wait, but don't come up on stage just because you wanted to get in for free.
That's true.
That would be really annoying, Moshe. You shouldn't encourage people to do that.
Well, we're going to vet them. They're not just going to email us and automatically come to the show. I mean, if they're saying all I want to do is touch Natasha and her beautiful Third Love bra, well, they're not going to get up on stage. But if you have an issue you want to work through with us live in Portland or San Francisco, email us, endlesshoneymoonpod@gmail.com, and go to Helium Portland or San Francisco Sketchfest.com. Buy a ticket. Come see us soon. We love you. All right, welcome. Endless Honeymoon. Here we are. I'm Moshe Kasher.
Oh, sorry. And I'm Natasha Leggero.
You all right?
I was turning it down because your voice is so loud. Let's start again.
No, let's keep it.
Okay.
We got some special guests today. Very excited to have both of these people here. Chris Laker, Jacqueline Novak.
Hi.
Thank you for joining us.
Hello, thank you for having us.
Yeah, it's nice. This is really nice.
You guys both have different New York accents.
I know.
Do I have an accent?
Well, you have kind of like the right side of the track scent. Does that make sense?
That is heinous. I'm horrified.
Are you familiar with she's from like where Hillary Clinton lives?
that is exactly. That feels right.
No, that is disgusting. I thought I had a absolute
Like street?
like no flourishes.
South Bronx.
Yeah, I thought it was. I mean, you're right. I thought I was simply, right down the line of nothing.
All I can say is the last 6 times I've seen you, other than your show, which we're going to talk about in a second, have been in the lobby of a high-end yoga studio when I was on my way to work. So I'm not.
That doesn't mean anything.
I'm just saying you're not.
Starbucks of yoga. It's not. I mean, literally, it's been called that.
Wait, Chris, where are you from?
Staten Island?
Now there we go.
Yeah.
Wait, you had to take a ferry to get places when you were a child?
I had to take a ferry to go to school, yeah.
The most.
Whoa.
Would you love Staten Island?
No, I hate it.
It's a fucking hellhole, isn't
Yeah,
it?
I mean, I never
sad.
lived there like as an adult, like on purpose.
Oh man, my whole family moved to Staten Island. They were all in Brooklyn. They all moved to Staten Island, and then they'd always be like, "Come visit." And I'm like, "No." I mean, once there's a boat involved, I'm out. Like,
Yeah, no, that's like all these people from Brooklyn that wanted to move to New Jersey, and they just didn't make it. They stopped on Staten Island, and they were like, "Okay, I guess this is close enough." And then they all talk about moving to Florida or New Jersey. I don't. I don't like it.
Staten Island is where all the cops live too, right?
Oh yeah, the cops because you got to live in a city, I think, to be a cop or a firefighter. So a lot of those guys live there.
You're not allowed to
Those are like
commute
my
in for
neighbors.
it. It's sort of funny.
You gotta
were
live
living in Westchester.
You gotta live in New York. Yeah, you can't live in Westchester. You gotta live in the
It's
city.
definitely the least charming place to take a boat to.
Staten Island in the world.
No, I mean, since I just remember, like, usually when you have to take a boat somewhere, it's like you're going somewhere, in my experience, I've been very lucky.
Yeah.
Somewhere nice.
Yes.
Well, I want to get you guys are.
I don't mean to dig Staten Island.
You can.
No, he's very.
I have no
he hates-
emotional
he hates
attachment to it.
I went there once when I lived in New York to like meet a photographer when I had just moved
wow,
there.
yeah. It also seemed like a real opportunity. Probably like the idea of someone like having like that skill. I feel like it used to mean something.
Right.
How about those early days of comedy managers that were just a manager because they said they were a manager?
My first manager was definitely in
yeah.
his apartment.
In that zone?
Yeah.
I mean, if you want power, just if you're listening right now and you want to start manipulating and dominating human beings in the entertainment industry, move to any city, say you're a comedy manager, make up business cards. You'll have clients that will
instantly
just bend over backwards for you, and you can do anything you want with them.
In general, in the in the industry, I feel like to show up and say you're a producer of comedy things, right?
Yes.
Anything. And
Why not?
Establish a show, like establish anything that involves comedians, and then there you are.
The business card's usually a tip-off. They usually use a font that tells you, get out of here.
Don't trust this person.
Yeah.
Well, we were talking about this the other day because we were looking at preschools for our kid.
Oh my gosh.
And the vibe of the heads of preschools is the exact same vibe of like megalomaniacal comedy club booker.
Oh, God.
You know how every comedy club booker in a small town is like a king of a tiny little kingdom, like the most like weird, like you follow my rules, you don't work any. This is the only comedy castle that you perform at. That they're all that way.
But he's not talking about the only preschool that accepted us.
No, of course not. All the other places. I'm so sorry.
Wait, so you guys are a couple. Wait, you can keep asking us about.
No.
If you want.
I just got interested.
It's not that interesting. It's pathetic.
No, but it sounds like I imagine they take themselves very seriously, and you're in there, and like it feels insane, right?
It's insane.
Like, can you make jokes? Like, not really, right?
I'm always bombing.
Yeah.
She's bombed at a lot of the greatest preschools in the East Los Angeles area. Here's a fun fact: the East Los Angeles preschools have a lower vaccination rate than South Sudan. Just read an article that said that
because they're healthy.
Really?
They're not getting measles.
They're also not down to people in Sudan are not like trying to turn down a vaccine. They're probably like, yes, please, thank you for coming, appreciate this.
Right.
But here,
what if you could send your vaccine to the Sudan if you're refusing it?
That's pretty cool. Yeah, that I actually really like that idea.
And let's see how they're doing later.
And then Sudan flourishes. East Los Angeles wastes away.
What kind of rate is that? Like,
it's low. It's like a pandemic coming rate.
Honey, they don't have kids. They don't care about this.
No,
what do you mean? They can get measles.
It's fascinating. The anti-vaxxers I find fascinating.
Okay. Jacqueline, I saw your show the other day. I have been unable to stop thinking about it. I want to do a plug now that we're thinking about it because you're doing another run of it coming up.
In New York.
At the Lucille Hotel.
Yes.
And what are the dates?
December 14th through January 26th.
I loved it. And let me tell you what I loved about it. My whole comedy career, I've been calling myself highbrow, lowbrow. Like that's what that, and that was the further. It's the most highbrow, but it's the furthest iteration of the highbrow, lowbrow concept in comedy. Like it's if you haven't seen it and you're in New York, or even if you're in some
Staten Island,
exactly.
Maybe you're stuck there.
Maybe if you're stuck in, take the ferry, jump on the ferry.
Yes.
Go, but it's such a what I liked about it, and then we'll move along.
Yeah.
Is that it's a tiny microscopic way into macro, and it's the whole show's about blowjobs. I mean, there's no kind and unrude way to say it, but it goes into such a place of like such an eagle eye view of sort of everything that a young woman goes through that one particular act that it kind of ruined them for me.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I haven't had one since.
That's not true, Moshe.
No, but it was great. So if you're listening, you should go see it. If you're in the New York area, go see it. And you guys are a couple.
Yeah.
Chris is also a talented comedian.
Chris as well is a comedian. And what can I ask? I'm sure you've been asked this before. What is it like being the partner of a person whose show is about sex and such a specific sex and sexuality? Do people like go like, is that you? Have you gotten that?
Oh, I'm not even. No one's really asked me about that.
Is it an annoying question?
No, it's not. I mean, I'm always happy to talk about Jaqueline because she's the one who has success. When people ask me how I'm doing, I just say, "Well, Jacqueline's show is doing fantastic," and I point to the news, the magazine, and newspaper.
You jump on the ferry. You go back to Staten Island.
You're headlining clubs. I mean, that's
No, he likes to play it up. I mean,
but she's doing fantastic, and I'm not really in the show except for the references to her boyfriend. The other, everything else is kind of pre-me.
Yeah.
It's not like the blowjob's about the blowjob she gave him.
No, I mean, I would be fine with that. I have no problem.
No, but
with any of it.
It's all sort of they're all kind of, it's abstract sort of,
I can't overstate.
It's mostly high school and college.
Yeah, I can't overstate how sophisticated a show this is. If you're listening and you immediately are like, but that doesn't sound like that's for me. Although, if you're listening to my podcast, you probably are like, I love blowjobs. I'm in. Yeah. But I'll take
both. You
can take both.
I'll take either side.
Right.
I feel like, but sorry to interrupt you to like really sort of stew in the compliment, but I'm so happy that that's what you took from it, because that's exactly like the thing for me. The highbrow, lowbrow is kind of.
Well, you have a line in there where you're like, this is something like, this is not a cautionary tale. Oh, God forbid, because at the end of the day, I'm just a nightclub act.
Oh my
right?
God.
Something like that.
Yes.
And that was the other thing that I liked about the show is that as a comedy guy, like a real, my focus has always been on what's funny, for how kind of theatrical and sophisticated it is, and it's even highfalutin at certain points.
Totally.
I think it's aware of that. It was very high octane comedy. Like it was packed. It was packed in with joke.
This is what you
want. Yeah.
Now you got a blurb.
That is such a good quote. High octane comedy.
No one's ever said anything like that before.
Yeah, high octane.
But I don't think not lately about Jacqueline Novak. Out of all the glowing quotes, nobody mentioned the octane.
I thought, listen, if I could go further, I would say it brought the funny. It brought the funny.
Oh my God.
She got up there. She brought the funny.
Well, first she had to find the funny.
You got to find the funny. It's hard to find sometimes, but then you bring it. When you find it, you bring it.
I hate.
You guys are like us too, like two comedians. So obviously it has.
Yes.
There's issues.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Well, what do you guys fight about the most?
Or what's a fight you've had lately?
We had one recently. It was distinct because we generally don't fight that much, but we had a proper fight the other day where I screamed on the street something like this: "It's over, I'm done," and I meant the conversation, like I'm walking away, like I'm cutting to. We're gonna start in the middle of the action and then go back, I meant like we're not gonna keep this fight isn't working, so I'm gonna walk away like I'm gonna, and Chris just
what did you hear, Chris?
He goes, you breaking up with me? And then I burst out laughing because I was like, no, and then I ran back like, oh God.
Well, it was like, you fucking I didn't believe that you would have really broken up with me in that moment, but I thought that's what you meant, and that's when I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
What was this about? I do that, by the way. Sometimes if we get really into it, I'll say, I fucking, fuck it. I want a divorce. And she said, you want a divorce? I say, yeah, I want to divorce myself from this conversation right now. I need to leave the room. What was the fight?
So it started.
We'll hear your version, I guess.
Okay, Chase Bank put a cash deposit into the ATM. This is Jacqueline.
Chase.
Jacqueline's putting cash in the ATM. The ATM eats the cash and says, sorry, go fuck off. And so she goes to it just doesn't even say how much it took. It just it doesn't register.
And I didn't know exactly because it was a wad of cash from selling merchandise. I don't, really count it. I mean, I
and
knew
you just
roughly.
shoved it in the thing.
I mean, I had this stack, it's like 30 bills at a time. I counted out how many bills. I was like, I know it's 30.
Whether they were hundreds or fives.
I had a rough sense. But I also am like, that's what the machine's for. It counts it, which I know is kind of, that's the kind of thing someone else would count the money before putting it in. I go, yeah, I get that that's responsible, but I'm not going to do that. I trust the machine. Whatever. I put it in, and then it just said, it took the money. It didn't give it back, which it sometimes does when there's something wrong. Took it, and then said, literally just call Chase to see if your money is anywhere. And nobody inside the bank can do anything about it. No, but you're cutting ahead.
I'll just say this.
Yeah, please.
I have anger issues, so I am.
You're from Staten Island. You didn't need to say that.
Yeah, I'm furious at the bank because when we go to the teller, you got to call the number. I can't do shit.
That's so annoying.
And there's nobody in here that can do shit. And I was just, and I'm like, Jacqueline knows. She feels me.
You're about to lose it.
She feels my rage, and she feels me shake, and she's like,
he literally shakes.
And I'm like. And I kind of probably said, what the fuck, or some shit. And then she's like, go away. And so I walk back a few steps. I feel like I'm calmed down. So I think I can go back over. So I go to stand by my woman's side. And I'm standing there. And as this is still going on, I'm starting to shake again. And I'm not saying anything, but I'm like, I'm just, because it just spins out of control right right away.
They call that Staten Island Parkinson's. That's what that is.
And then Jacqueline turns to me and said, "Back the fuck off."
Jesus. Not what you want to say to a shaking man, by the way. But I will say, when I'm in a certain place of rage, I know I'm in a bad space when Natasha physically tries to go stop, and I'm like, "Get off of me!" Like
that's only happened once. That was not good.
That's a bad situation when I'm physically out of control of my body. Yes. Somebody does need to put me in a car and send me away.
Wait, so then what happens?
Yeah,
Chris?
and I'm gonna do my version after because I've already seen
You've taken some notes.
I want to.
I went and sat in the chairs. The chairs,
those terrible, sad chairs.
With the little hard candy sitting there.
Yeah.
I sat there until it was over. So now both of our feelings have been taken. She's mad at me for being mad. I'm mad that she said that to me
when you were just trying to support her.
No, I still don't even. This read. I wasn't mad at you for being mad.
You were mad at me for not listening.
No.
What? Okay.
I was never mad.
Then I don't even know what happened. I don't even know what happened.
All right, so
he's shaking a little bit, you guys. I just want you to know.
No, it's interesting. I mean, the essence of the fight is the same fight we have over and over again, which I will elucidate shortly. But what he described to me, it was, the ATM eats my money. I walk up to the teller. I tell them, they're like, "You got to file a claim." It's just...
It's not their fault. They're just saying what they've been trained.
You got to file a claim. And it's like, I'm afraid to walk away from the building right now.
For sure.
This feels like the moment. I mean, so...
This is the moment you lose over $300 to the Chase Bank.
Yeah. It was literally, though, it was a good minimum 800, which, nothing to sneeze at.
For me, it definitely is, but I hear what you're saying. I'm trying to remember the
money's
time
not, the show's,
no, but
the
also
show's coming, but, the money's not there
insane.
yet. There's high hopes for the future.
I understand the psychology of what you're saying. The money's in the wall.
Yeah.
Your money's inside of the thick
the
wall.
worst part is
literally there.
Which is why if it was you, I'd be mad if she didn't count it.
Yeah.
So you also, how do you file a claim when you're like...
No,
I
and
guess it was
exactly, and that's where I'm like, this is why my dad does things like count the money, before whatever, and I think it's sort of irrelevant. So I walk over to the thing. Now Chris is immediately shaking, and he shakes in this way, and his arms sort of go it literally looks like he's gonna take off the ground. It has that exact look.
Oh, like you're gonna fly?
Like a rocket.
He's
Wait, what were you so mad about? Just at the ATM?
I was mad that the ATM is sitting right there along the wall of the teller, and they're kind of, and it's just it ate the money, and they're just like, "Yeah, you got to call," and I'm like, "We're standing in Chase Bank."
It is a funny idea. You have to call a call center out of state.
Yeah,
out of the country.
Probably, a call center in Bangladesh so that they can get to the money that's 4 feet away from you.
Yeah.
And they were kind of acting like, what's the big deal? We don't give a shit.
We're a bank. Trust us.
Yeah, and it was, and I was just so furious that they weren't I would be trying to do something.
Match the emotion. I think
get one of the people in the cubicles at the very least.
They didn't look, it's the thing where you go, what Chris wants, I think, is to go, that's so fucked up. I
don't expect them to do that.
But to go are you serious? This I feel like there needs, I can't envision, what would have been the right reaction, you think?
That they either get one of the people in charge.
I'm gonna get, that's really messed up.
And
they get the manager.
They get the manager, and the manager calls up with you. That would have been the thing to do.
That's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's absurd that it's the system as it is, but I think we've all just sort of surrendered.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
No, there's something about you put it 30 seconds after putting your money in the machine, someone's saying, file a claim. You're just
that would make me mad.
It's insane.
And especially the way she said it, whatever. She obviously, like you said, wasn't matching your...
Not at all. It was this happens. It was kind of that was the vibe. And she didn't even say this happens. It was... So anyway, so I know in moments... So when something goes wrong for us, and I know that Chris is going to get mad, my anger goes, I don't get to have my anger because I'm too worried about Chris's, okay? So, one time on the street in New York, a woman yelled at us for crossing the street, not on a light. She was just walking also. It was totally on a moral, she wasn't the one in the car who had to brake suddenly. It was just an arbitrary her yelling at us. and like it filled me with rage, and Chris, I guess, was like working on his anger at the time, and so he like didn't respond in any way. Like I didn't feel any anger from him.
Not a shake.
And it created like this space where suddenly it was really like weird for me. And so like halfway down the block, like I turned around and screamed like, "You're a fucking asshole!"
Oh, that's beautiful.
Woman, you know, because like it was like I suddenly had the space to be angry, and I'm like not, you know.
You had the space away from her face,
yeah.
Though, so then you didn't have to say it to her face.
True. It's
yeah,
true.
no. Chris was like watering the sort of dying plant of the inner Staten Island within you.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
No, absolutely.
And bringing you across the tracks, bringing you from the Hamptons onto the streets, kind of a thing. And that's
the Hamptons.
That's truly beautiful. I was in
like
New York.
Barely been there. Okay?
I was in New York once, and I stopped at a red light on a crosswalk, and a guy walked up behind me and like aggressively said in my ear, "This is New York. You walk." And I was like,
"What?
You can't tell me to." I understand you break the law, but you're not allowed to scold me for not breaking the law.
That's bizarre.
It's like I get that people jaywalk here, but it's just a weird.
He was angry like that you slowed him down.
By the way, it was like 1:00 in the morning. There was no one in the streets. I wasn't impeding his movement in any way. He was just upset that a man had stopped at a "Don't Walk" sign.
Yeah, you know, I always hate when people are like, "This is New York." It's just like, yeah, people come from all over the place.
It's a tourist area.
It's like the people that were born here, myself included, aren't what makes it good.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what makes it good. Never sleeps. And the pizza.
God.
Have you guys tried the pizza? Honestly, the pizza there, it's not like the pizza we have here. It's different.
It's, it's the water, they say.
It's the water.
Same
What
with
you
the
want to do
bagels.
for our listeners, if you go see that show, get on your knees at the
Lucille Lortel in the West Village.
Lucille Lortel in the West Village. You go to a pizza place, any pizza place, get a slice. You call it a slice. Don't say, "May I have a piece of pizza?" Say, "Let me get a slice."
Oh my
right,
God.
Chris?
I didn't know that was
Let
even.
me get a slice.
This is a character
Wait,
Moshe has been working on for a while.
Let me get a slice. You say, "Let me get a slice," and then you take the pizza, you fold it right in the middle, eat it sideways. And then jaywalk while you're doing it. Nobody will know you're from somewhere else. Nobody will know.
What's the thing that in New York, plain or cheese? What is it? Plain, right?
Plain.
A slice.
You could say either.
What's
No,
a
but I
slice
remember
plain?
hearing that.
Yeah, you say
Plain.
plain is
I think
what
I
would
grew up
think,
with
but-
plain.
Yeah.
And then I think I was told later that was a New York centric thing. You call that a slice of cheese pizza.
Oh, you say plain?
You want to know something weird?
Yeah, isn't that funny? It's
New
weird.
York sign language is different than the sign language in
Oh, that's
California.
interesting.
In
What?
fact, the sign for pizza is different in New
What?
York. In fact, speaking of highbrow, lowbrow, the sign for pizza in New York, ASL, is really similar to the sign for eating pussy in every other part of the country. So it can be a little bit confusing.
A triangle.
No.
no? Give
No,
it
it's
to
a
me.
sign for lesbian. That's what it is. I'm sorry. I just equate those two
Yeah.
so readily. But yeah, lesbian is like this. You can't see.
Oh, yeah.
And pizza in New York is like this. So you can
And what's
create,
pizza on the West Coast?
You would spell it. You just spell it out. They, don't
Why?
have, they couldn't afford one out here. Because it goes together really well. The double Z's really create a pizza.
Wait, I'm sorry to be straight up asking this on the thing, but do you have a parent that's deaf?
No, I'm like Pete Buttigieg. I know every language. I know Norwegian. I know Upper West Side.
No, but
I know Staten Island.
no, really?
Moshe has two deaf parents.
Yeah, my whole family.
That's what I thought, and you talked about it in your special, which I very much enjoyed.
Oh, thank you so much.
But I just wanted
Would
to
you
make
say
sure
it
I
was
wasn't
high octane? Chris, would you say it was high octane?
Chris has not. Seen
I would say high octane, turbocharged, action packed, all killer, no
No,
filler.
it's really it's good modeling for us as a incredibly sort of successful comedy. I mean, well done, guys.
Oh, hey, thanks.
No,
well
it's
done
great.
to you too.
Except Jacqueline would never do any
Really?
projects with me. You wouldn't.
No,
I've
I
tried.
No.
I'm doing fine
He's too sensitive.
on my own.
He's
She
too
just pats you on the
sensitive.
head with an envelope of merch cash. She's like, "No, Chris."
It was my folder of money. It was really exciting. It was
Yeah.
a lot of ones, but it was in a folder.
Well, it has to be the right thing too. You know, it's like maybe something will come to you at some point, and it'll be the right thing for you two to do together.
I would love to like. No, yeah. But I'm trying to think. Like when we work on things, like my feeling was at this point, it's kind of like if I were, making a TV show or something, it'd be kind of stressful to not be able to like for us to not be able to complain at night in bed in the same way.
We did that. We worked on a show, Natasha's show that she created with Ricky Lindholm. I was like...
It was called Another Period.
Another Period on Comedy Central.
And it was also high octane.
It was definitely high octane. It was packed to the
and
gills with
low,
comedy.
and
highbrow low. It was indeed all of those things.
Oh, yeah.
But we worked together, and that was a thing I think that you were concerned with.
We had a rule that when we crossed because we worked in a mansion and we filmed it in this beautiful mansion, but and we were on set all day together, and then we said once we cross the mansion threshold, we don't talk about work.
Yeah, we would go home.
And that's at 8 p.m., you know, so it's like we only have a couple
But
hours.
it would be funny because we'd be in bed together at like 1 a.m. And like I or she would be like, can I just complain about one person right now? Can we just have like a 10-minute break?
As long as it's about others, I feel like that is great.
Of course.
And one of the great joys to complain about others later in bed. But and I would love to like be behind the camera. Like you as my muse on film is exciting to me. Like I feel like he needs to be on film. Like I'm
looking at you right now, Chris. I feel like that too.
It's like there's
I've been thinking
intensity.
that this whole time. You need to be on film.
But wait, I feel like I didn't. I feel like, and I know I was going too long on it, but I feel like I need to wrap up why I said back the fuck off. So in my mind, I go up to the thing I'm handling. He's shaking, and I'm watching there's two people behind the teller. Their focus is going to him because he's shaking, and to me, he doesn't realize.
Makes sense. You're the threat. You're definitely the identified threat at that point.
It looks like, and to me, like the anger looks like, if you don't know, because he's trying to control it, so it's very. It looks like he might be having some kind of, to use an old term, fit. You know what I mean?
They are locked in behind bulletproof glass. There's nothing I can really
safe, but they're
physically do to
distracted.
them.
Okay?
I would say though, a bank and a casino are probably the two worst places to throw a rage fit. Probably in America, in the world.
Oh, are there guns somewhere on the premise?
At a bank? Yeah, definitely.
There are.
Yeah.
I mean, the security guys.
I think casino's the worst, and I think bank is the second worst.
So
he's shaking. They're looking at him. So I'm realizing he's a distraction, right? So I turn to him, and it's kind of this like, we've been through this before in the sense of like when there's things that go down like this with customer service or whatever it is, or at the Mac store when Chris feels that the genius is being patronizing or
I've had some genius issues, but
he's really had some geniuses, and the only success has been me being like, leave the store. Like one time with his Mac, like with his MacBook or whatever, it was like, leave the store, and like I got it done. Like, you know what I mean? Like he went to the food court, and it was like, and I came out with his computer fixed, and he was like, how? And
what were you eating? I like this image, of like the angry man.
Know
I probably just
anything.
got coffee.
Just an angry man with a cup of like
single hot coffee.
just a black hot coffee, just sadly looking at his coffee with every sip.
Watching kids like fight at a food court.
And then Jacqueline comes down with like a mink stole and a repaired MacBook Air.
No, and you couldn't resist, like you were delighted, and it was like, how? And it's just because like I do stay calm, and I do think Chris gets mad at like Apple in general, at kind of, the genius. And it's, I mean, sometimes they are actually,
they're a terrible company.
Assholes.
I mean, every week there's like a new story about how they're figuring out how to never pay taxes and make us pay more money to get things. I mean, obviously.
Hey, and Natasha, back the fuck off.
Sponsor.
So to me, it was a scenario of me going like, we've done this before. We know it's better when you back off. Like, and particularly, one thing I've said is when it's like my business, like you have to let me handle it because it's
but I'm on your side, honestly. Like when when you've had a conversation before, and it's clear that he should back off. Like I'm on your side that you chose the language, back the fuck off. To me, of all the language choices, that was the most compassionate and positive one you could have chosen from all the different choices. Like to not say, hey, Chris, we've been through this before, maybe it'd be better just to scream
that would not work with Moshe.
No, I don't think that would work with me either.
Anyway,
I think I would have vibrated more.
It was on the third. It was on the third, okay? In my mind, it was the third.
I think it was the second.
He's shaking over here on my right, okay? And it's like, you can't do this. Go away. Like, please. Like we know this. And then he appears again on my left. And I'm like,
shaking
go
like
over there.
And
Go
I
over
said,
there.
I'm just going to stand here.
And then he came back. And he's shaking again. And he's I know he's about to take off before, because I know what they've just said. I can feel him shaking. And so then I turn to him, and that's when I say, just back the fuck off. And to me, the fuck was like, to me, it was like, I don't have kids, but in the vein of like, I was yelling at you because I was scared. Okay, like the whatever, like the mother and the cub. Okay, like almost like
wait, he's the cub.
He's the cub in this because
Chris.
to me, I was trying to get him out. Like I gotta
been
yell
there.
at you.
That's what happens.
I'm feeling Chris so hard right now. Like
I should yell at you next time.
He thought it was demeaning. I think
it was demeaning. It was undeniably demeaning.
Yeah. Other people
and it hurt my
could the
feelings.
genius hear
Of course
that?
it did.
Wait, did the genius hear that?
Your genius
No,
at the Chase genius.
Oh yeah.
This is.
I believe they
the
like
genius
didn't really.
What?
I mean, unless they were really like
Oh, right.
into it. But
Nobody
I'm like,
heard?
I'm like back.
No, they
I'm
heard.
like, back the fuck up. Sorry.
Oh, the Chase teller said back the fuck up. Heard it?
No, they must have heard it because you said it like right in front of them.
Well,
but
you kept circling like a
yeah,
buzzard.
but whatever. I admit my wrongdoing. In
No,
that.
absolutely.
All
So
I
he sat down.
want is my feelings to be acknowledged.
No, right.
That's what every fight
time.
on my side is always. My feelings aren't being acknowledged because I'm very sensitive. And Jacqueline's the only person I'm sensitive really with.
Right.
And the Chase teller and the Mac. Customer service.
Well, you see
And
that,
all of the geniuses
You see
that are employed by
those
Apple.
people get I'm sensitive with everybody, I guess, because that's the anger.
No, but that's a different kind of sensitivity.
Yeah.
Like anger for a man generally, for me anyway, is the one way that I will crack my sheen of control for the public. But I got like the full array of the emotional spectrum that I reserve for my partner.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
No,
So
and
you want some of that tender acknowledgement.
Yeah.
But I'm handling what feels like an emergency to me. And so it's like, I got to deal with them. I'm upset about the money thing for me. And he keeps circling back when in my mind, it's like, I've asked you twice to just step aside and you're back. And I also think sometimes when I have anger over here, it's like, it's confusing and there's a lot happening. And so then it like turns and the anger language, which is just like me throwing swears in, then turns into the direct address to him, even though I'm not feeling like angry at him. I'm feeling like it's like it'd be like if I moved him aside and I grabbed him by the arms and moved him and it was like my claws dug in, but it was because I was just trying to move him really quick.
But how I see the situation too of you two being partners, she's more equipped to handle this situation because she doesn't have like testosterone, she doesn't have rage, so it's like in that situation I do get where she's coming from because she's like, I'm going to take care of this. No one wants to be in a Mac store or an Apple
that's
store,
not the fundamental issue. The fundamental issue, by the
I
way,
crossed the line with back the fuck off.
I would say back the fuck off.
That's where it was.
Yeah. And I would also say that Chris would maybe, let me know if I'm putting words in your mouth, just would like the empathy to be a little bit more high octane, if I could coin a phrase.
By the way, I love high octane is one of the funniest things.
It's like morning DJ language.
Yes. I mean, because it comes from action movies, right? A lot of explosions.
Something like that. That's a high octane thriller. But the reason I think that Natasha and I just relate to this fight so much because this is always the dynamic for me. Is like I think that I can solve things by just forcing.
Oh my God.
My anger
like
on the
he
situation.
has gotten into a fight with a Lyft driver when I was pregnant who wouldn't give us our bags. And I was like, if you just go inside, I'll get our bags.
Right.
You need to go inside.
But I
should have said, get the fuck inside.
Right. But at that point, I'm like, it's not about the bag anymore.
I know.
It's about teaching this Lyft guy a lesson about
Teaching is huge.
It's a big
as an issue.
Yeah. I want to teach everybody
what's right.
And I've never taught anybody.
No one's a pupil out there.
They've all walked away thinking I was fucking nuts and I was an asshole.
Right.
And I knew in the Chase Bank I wasn't helping.
And he was trying his hardest. That's why he felt so bad because he was really trying.
I was trying, and all I wanted was a sorry,
which I gave, but then I walked it back, which is one of my favorite things to do. Okay, which is he doesn't. To me, this is where the fight begins. Okay, I wasn't fighting with back the fuck off. That was an accidental curse embedded in me trying to handle the situation. That was
back
not fighting
off
it.
isn't much better.
See, I'm seeing
it's actually worse.
Yeah. No, I know. No, right. It doesn't have any
back off.
It doesn't have any
fun.
I love this though.
Yeah.
The dynamic of your relationship is very clear. You are id and
oh my God,
and you are you're couching everything in the cerebral.
Right,
you're like,
right.
here's the thing about the
Right.
fuck.
I
the
hate
fuck
feelings.
in that moment as an interlocutor,
No, you're right.
as a linguistic
You're right.
interlocutor,
Shit,
clearly was just
you're
an
right.
expression of, and you're like, just say fucking, just be like, my bad.
No, and I say my bad.
I was expecting
but-
as soon as she came over to those chairs to be like, I'm sorry.
You thought
and
like,
it was,
right.
and it was just like, are you mad at me? And then
I'm mad that he's mad at me, which is my number one. So what happens is I do something. Oh no, or I feel mad at you for something. Mm-hmm. I express it. You react. Wait.
I'm always okay with
it.
that. When you say you're mad at me about something, I always apologize. I'm usually wrong about most things. I understand that. Like I just am.
Be cool about it.
But and when I lash out or whatever, anything like that, I know that I'm in the wrong. There's even if I feel like I'm in the right, I'm in the wrong.
I know.
But all I want,
no, I mean it tenderly.
All I want is like, yeah, I shouldn't have said that. I'm sorry.
Here's the problem. My problem with apologizing. Okay, and this is ugly, and I know this. All right, but I also sort of believe it, which is he wants just an apology, a simple apology, right? But I'm like, no, you're wrong for being hurt, and I want to tell you why. Because if I apologize, then it's like I've locked in. I've legitimized your hurt, okay? Which I'm like, no, I can unhurt you if I just explain. You know what I mean? And so I'm like, I'll give you the apology,
think hard enough,
and then
I'll find out
it's
how
almost. I'm sorry that you like. I'm sorry that my perfectly right actions like caused a feeling in you. But what happens, I feel like, is so then I'm like, yeah, are you mad at me? I'm sorry I used that language. But then I feel like I'm the villain when he started it I'm quickly the villain.
Here's what I do, and we should take some calls. I'm so fascinated by this. I feel like we're about to ruin your relationship forever.
No. It's good.
There's this idea in AA that I have carried with me since I left AA. I left AA behind a long time ago, but I still carry a lot of the principles of it. And this one,
you're still sober.
I am still sober, and I live by this one a lot. Which is there's this phrase in the AA book that said, "Leaving aside the wrongdoings of others, we tried to ask ourselves, how had I been at fault?" Yes. That is the foundation principle for all of my.
Wait, will you repeat that?
Leaving aside the wrongdoings of others, we asked ourselves, how was I at fault? So like that is like that is my North Star when it comes to analyzing what I did.
Doesn't have anything to do with that.
I need to leave. First of all, I need to leave the house physically. I need to go away, and then I think all night. It takes me a while for my ego to go down a bit, and then I think, what did I do that has absolutely nothing to do with what the other person did? And then that's what I find that's what I apologize for. But it's hard to do that in a Chase Bank lobby.
And then it moved onto the street, and I feel I don't care about surroundings. To me, like the fight or the discussion or crying or whatever the hell's going on is so primary that I'm like, I literally I do not care. Like two of these people were walking by.
You don't care.
We're just people.
At the end of the day, you're a white woman, and you're gonna have that fight in the street.
It feels weird to argue on the street here because there's nobody there, and then like three people walk by, and it's more than like if there's crowds of people ignoring you. It's like these three people that are like the whole for probably about a good 4 minutes as you come into view and as they leave earshot. They're kind of engaged in your fight, and it bothers me.
In LA, you mean?
Yeah.
What is it you say about New York? You say every day on the streets of New York.
Someone's having the worst day of their life.
Yeah. So it's like normal. It's like everybody's got the same living room, and it's the city of New York.
Yes.
Here, definitely, everybody's like, "Why aren't you crying in your Lexus?"
Yes.
That's what we do here. We wait. We go to the Lexus.
Oh, and it was right after we went to Dr. Poke, our first acupuncture, and we went in and we got our acupuncture. And I've never had it that bad where literally we get the appointment, like we do the appointment, we stop. I should have gone to Chase first. I mean,
obvious.
I thought depositing money would be a nice
would be pretty simple.
Post acupuncture.
It would have been funny though if Chris was vibrating and you had looked and noticed that there was one needle left, and you just popped it out, and he's like, "I'm actually feeling fine now."
Okay, let's take some calls.
Let's do some calls. Now that we've gotten to
the
magma of your relationship, let's see if we can solve some other people's problems. I had a rough time this weekend, Natasha.
What happened, Moshe?
I tried to go for a long hike wearing only water bottles as shoes, and it just sucked. My feet got totally cut up. I was slipping. And I thought to myself, I wish there was a company that actually made shoes out of water bottles. And guess what? They do, and they're sponsoring this episode. Rothy's, baby. Rothy's is a stylish, sustainable, washable pair of shoes made from the waste that you create by trying to stay hydrated.
Rothy's are seamlessly knit using thread made from plastic water bottles. That's right, plastic water bottles. So they're ultra comfortable from the second you slip them on.
Yeah, there's no break-in period in these shoes. You won't cut yourself at all. And my feet are literally one big scab right now.
Go to Rothy's, look at their choices. They sent me a pair of black ones. I love them. They're comfy. They look cool. Plus, Rothy's always comes with free shipping and free returns and exchanges. No risk, no worry, no reason not to try.
They're also machine washable. So if you step in a big pile of shit like I did in those water bottles, don't worry about it. Throw the Rothy's in the washing machine. It's like getting a fresh pair every laundry day.
Go to rothys.com, rothys.com/honeymoon to get your new favorite flats in time for the holidays.
Comfort, style, sustainability. These are the shoes you've been waiting for.
Head to rothys.com/honeymoon today.
Natasha?
Yes, Moshe?
Do you know that I struggle with sleeping?
Yes, I know that. We share a bed.
Yeah. For me, it's not stress related, it's methamphetamine addiction. And also the ghosts of all of the terrible things I've done in my past that I've never told you about. But that might be different for you. Maybe you're having a hard time sleeping because the world's moving so fast. There's so much media, there's so much stress, and the holidays are coming up. It can be really difficult for you to calm down.
That's why you should try Calm, the #1 app for sleep and relaxation. It can really transform your nights, which means better days. Check out Sleep Stories, which are like bedtime stories for adults. They can let you fall into a deep, natural sleep in minutes, with narration by iconic voices like LeVar Burton and Nick Offerman.
So if you go to calm.com/honeymoon, you'll get 25% off a Calm premium subscription. It includes hundreds of sleep stories and a ton of other content like soothing music from artists like Sam Smith, guided meditations, breathing exercises, and so much more. I tried Calm, and I was able to forget about the real horrific nightmares that I live with on a daily basis.
For a limited time, our show listeners can get 25% off Calm premium subscription at calm.com/honeymoon.
It comes with unlimited access to Calm's entire library, and new content is added every week.
Get started today at calm.com/honeymoon. That's calm.com/honeymoon.
And get those screams out of your brain. Okay, now we're going to call Sam and Bridget in Philadelphia.
Hello?
Sam, Bridget.
Hi.
Hello.
How's it going? It's Natasha Leggero, Moshe Kasher, and we're here with some of our friends, Jacqueline Novak and Chris Laker.
Hey.
We're all very successful comedians.
And very excited to talk to you.
We're very excited to talk to you. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
What's going on?
Just watched Crazy Rich Asians, hanging out.
I think we're both a little nervous. One, because you guys are all people we respect and like a lot. And two, because we're actually having a very nice date night right now.
And you don't want to ruin it?
Very bad idea.
We're a little worried if after this phone call we're going to leave each other.
Well, okay. Well, let's do an icebreaker. Why don't both of you tell like a sort of relationship betraying secret to one another that you've never admitted to each other? Like, what are some of the secrets you're keeping from each other? That could flow things a little bit. I'm kidding. Why'd you call tonight?
Okay. We called tonight because we've been together for 5 years. We were friends for 5 years before that, so we've known each other for 10 years. And the last year or so, we've been talking about, I guess, making a more long-lasting commitment to each other, and specifically talking about getting married. And we've gone back and forth quite a lot, or rather, Sam has gone back and forth quite a lot.
Don't laugh.
I don't think that's necessarily a fair characterization, but
Well, I liked, Bridget, that you were attempting to throw Sam a little bit of a bone there, and then in the end you did throw him under the bus, and I like that about you.
Well, then I looked at him and I was like, no, this is all your fault.
Yeah. So basically, Bridget, you're ready to get married, and he's kind of like saying like, what if we just kind of like stay boyfriend and girlfriend for a little longer, kind of thing.
Well, I think that the issue, and something that you've said, Sam, is like, well, one, I just wonder about marriage as an institution, and whether
that old chestnut. Yes. Every man wonders about marriage as an institution right before they're going to get engaged.
Generally not otherwise interested in various institutions.
Everybody else already is married.
Wait, what did you say, Sam? Sorry, Jacqueline was roasting you really hard, like the chestnut.
I just don't want to get married until literally everyone else is married.
Right. You know, I was talking about this yesterday with somebody that's in the same situation as you, Sam, that I think for men, maybe for women too, actually I think for everybody, that when you get married, it's not just about the commitment to the person that you're with, it's also about the commitment to adulthood that is so terrifying. You really are like admitting to your deepest core self, like, I'm truly not a scene guy anymore. I'm like a marriage guy. And that is a really terrifying life ring to let go of. Does that feel accurate to you?
Yeah, I mean, it's like the idea of being with Bridget forever is very, very exciting, but I think just like the idea of marriage more generally is scary. And when I think about being with Bridget, that's very exciting, and I would be happy and honored to be able to do that.
I mean,
just
for me,
for some reason, like the thought of marriage is very, very scary.
For me as a woman, it kind of boils down to, I don't want to be calling someone my boyfriend. Like people don't really take that seriously. And like people would much rather try to steal your boyfriend than steal your husband. Like once someone has a husband, it just feels a little more like legit.
Yeah.
Back the fuck off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just feel like
Natasha never called me her boyfriend. She called me her erotic lover from the very early days.
I call my lover a lot.
Is that right? Well, there you
I
go.
don't think Bridget has to worry about anyone trying to steal me, so that's a little different.
I think that was a jab at Sam, and that he doesn't feel appealing.
But
compared to most.
No,
but I think for me it's more about like, and I think this is what I'm trying to flesh out a little bit, because who knows how much of it is just like societal pressure that this is the next step in adulthood if you're with somebody you care about. And I think also, to me, it feels like a way to join family and expand family and think about, like, I really like ritual, and I think that weddings and marriage are a really beautiful ritual of, like, saying you commit to each other and making this pact and asking people in your family and community to support it. That's what I tell myself in my head.
Yeah, just get married. Let's do it. And what the fuck? What's the problem? I've been married. It's really easy to undo. And it's fun. You'll have a good time. It's a great party. And you don't want to wait for everybody else to get married, because then everybody's sick of weddings.
Oh.
You want to be up front. Now everybody's like, look at this. Look who's stepping up. Yeah. And then everybody, you're the guy.
Oh, I like this.
And we're like one of the, I'd say we would be one of the early.
Oh.
I'm the late end of early. But yeah.
On the late end of early, certainly. But still, like, most of our friends are not married.
I mean,
we would
listen.
still be at that age where people are like, oh, you're married. You're like young and cool and doing it in an alt way.
No one's going to think that ever. That will never happen. There's an inherent dorkiness to getting married that is inescapable. And I'll tell you, from my perspective, I hear your dilemma, Sam, which is it's not that you're afraid of being with Bridget. It's that you're afraid of being a married guy. But like Chris said, divorce is always a really tantalizing option. And also, I know that for me, I don't know if you relate to this, but whenever I'm in a human situation where I feel like I'm like being like a basic human, like I'm like doing a thing that, like when you're in a mall.
I call it Moshe's fear of being basic.
Yeah,
Oh
like when you're in a mall at Christmas time, or like when you have kids, it compounds so much harder because you're always in these situations where everybody's got the same age kid as you, and you're all engaged in the same activity, and you just feel like, am I just on?
Sometimes you'll say, "How old is she?" at the playground at the same time as another mom. That's the only thing you know.
You just feel like this. This cog on the assembly line of humanness. I hate that feeling more than anything. But I realized this about that feeling, specifically around marriage, which is that it is something that everybody does, and it is kind of basic. But there's a beautiful way to interpret that too, which is it's like, wow, all of humanity has this ritual where they go in front of their community, declare their love for the person that they're with, and seal it in public, and that's kind of beautiful. It's essential to humanness. Not that it's essential to get married to be a human, but you can divorce yourself of all this like shame about like being not cool anymore because you're a human being, and there's nothing cool about being a human being. And in the end, you're just going to be dead anyway.
And it helps your taxes, I think.
That's true. Tax purposes.
I heard with this new tax plan, it actually doesn't help your taxes that much. And I think also because I'm saddled with so much student loan that we wouldn't file jointly.
Wait a minute. Do you have student loan, Sam?
Yeah, but it's a drop in the bucket compared to...
so
I have really bad student loans.
Oh, so you're in much more debt than him? Hey, Sam,
yes,
I'm going to call you directly. I have some different advice for you, actually. I think Natasha's shaking her head no. Well, good luck, you two. Jacqueline, any closing thoughts?
No, mine was going to open things up too much.
Okay.
So I think go for it. Sometimes you got to take action in this life to see what anything even is.
That's true.
Paralysis is exhausting.
I mean, the other side of it is me and Jacqueline been together 9 years, and we're not married. And people just call her my wife. And then if I say we're not married, they're like, she's your wife. And so they just marry you. People just marry you anyway.
You're getting.
It's true. It's true.
The other cool thing about being married is. It opens up parts of your brain that you didn't know were there. And I think it's the same just being with somebody for a long time when you're like, the romance part of my brain lives here. And so the rest part of my brain, I can just occupy it with other things, with work, with whatever. So
you're not running around. Sorry.
I'm curious about Natasha and Moshe, how you guys, like, what were factors when you guys decided that you wanted to make that commitment to each other, and like, how do you, because I think Sam and I also feel like marriage, so what, who cares? Like, we're already really committed to each other and have lived together for a while, and see this in the long term.
Moshe said he wanted a 3-way.
Right.
I said, wait till we're married.
I know this story.
Oh my God.
She said, wait till we're married, and I got hoodwinked into it because the 3-way has not come, but I've been married for quite a while now. But that's not quite true. But what is true is that I wanted kids, and Natasha, for some reason, didn't want kids until we were married. And so I was like, cool, let's do it. I mean, it wasn't that. I think Chris is right. It's not that serious. It's not something
It
to
changes
overthink.
Nothing.
It changes nothing, except maybe a little like sparkle of feeling. And if you're already sure that you guys are supposed to be together, well, and Sam, Bridget wants it really bad. Then hey, take on that debt, sign a prenup, and get to business.
I wouldn't say I want it really bad.
You sound like you do.
That.
You sound thirsty. Just right. Everybody's nodding their heads really, really demonstratively now. No, good luck, you two. You guys will figure it out.
Thank you.
Thank you
Okay.
so much.
Thanks for talking to us. Have a good date night.
Thanks. Night.
Bye.
Hey, Natasha.
Yeah, Moshe.
Christmas is coming up, my favorite holiday where we celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ. But it can be difficult to figure out what to get for your parents, right? Because they're complete dorks.
That's why you can go to Storyworth. Storyworth is an online service that helps your loved ones tell the story of their lives through thought-provoking questions about their memories and personal thoughts.
This is actually a perfect gift for a parent because you buy it for them, tell them what you bought, and then step out of the equation. Storyworth emails your family member different story prompts each week with questions you would never ask them, like, "Hi, how are you?" Or, "What have been some of your life's greatest surprises? What's one of the riskiest things you've ever done?" Then,
after 1 year, Storyworth will compile every answered question and photo you choose to include in a beautiful keepsake book that's shipped for free.
That's right. It's like you're being thoughtful, but you've not done any thinking. All you did was buy Storyworth and then just go do whatever you do. Go on Instagram, waste your life, and your parents are like, "Wow, my kids really love me because of Storyworth." So sign up today by going to storyworth.com/honeymoon and you get $20 off your first purchase.
That's storyworth.com/honeymoon for $20 off.
Communicate with your family without talking to them. Storyworth. Hey, Natasha, do you ever feel like a hopeless loser?
Every day.
Well, I don't, and I'll tell you why. It's because of Skillshare. I used to be stuck in a rut and feeling like I couldn't be creative, just working at my Pizza Hut, wondering when the clock would stop and I could finally check out, drive around, and look for marijuana, sweet marijuana, to forget about my problems. Then I found Skillshare, and I was able to take classes that really watered the garden of my creativity.
Skillshare is an online learning community for the creator in all of us. They have thousands of classes in photography, creative writing, design, productivity, so many classes. You should check out their website. I was inspired just looking at the things that I could be learning.
Things like illustration, graphic design, photography, creative writing, animation, fine art, music production, all of this in your time off. If you're too busy to do it, you don't have to worry because you can do it on your computer or right on your phone. So we are actually hooking our listeners up with 2 free months when you sign up at Skillshare.com/honeymoon.
That's 2 whole months of unlimited access to thousands of classes for free. Get started today by heading to Skillshare.com/honeymoon to sign up.
That's Skillshare.com/honeymoon. And you can go from working at Round Table Pizza to working at Round Table Pizza, but finishing your novel.
Do we have one more call, Laura?
Yeah, let's do it. We're going to call Jack in Seattle now.
Hello?
Jack.
Hey.
What's up?
It's Natasha Leggero, Moshe Kasher, Chris Laker, and Jacqueline Novak. How can we help you?
So the short version is I was dating a girl for about 3 years, and we were like just madly in love. I was crazy about her. And then we went through a breakup, and that was a little over a year ago. And since then, I've been dating like other people. I've had like 2 legitimate relationships and some flings, but nothing is seeming to like reach that level of like romance and passion that I had with the one girl. And so my question is, and this might be awkward to answer in a room with your spouse, but I was wondering if you guys have like a one that got away, and if that ever goes away, and if you ever really do get over that.
Don't laugh.
No, I'm laughing in that it is incredibly awkward to ask 2 couples, but
I had one, and then I got married to her, and then we're divorced now.
Oh my God. She was the one
We
who got
were
away.
together for like a year and a half, broke up for a year and a half, didn't talk. Then we just got married. And because we weren't done. It wasn't done yet. Now it's done. So
Right.
if you're not done, you go back.
You're right. Chris is good at advice.
I know.
Everything comes
He
from this
cuts
like
through.
sharp steel area. But yeah, Jack, I have a one that got away. It's sort of a similar situation to what Chris was saying. I have a one who got away, and every once in a while, I'll see an update about her life, and she's the head psychic at the Phoenix, Arizona Psychic Institute. And I'm like, thank God I didn't commit to this person who has grown so diametrically opposed to me. And thank God I didn't believe in the myth, the bullshit myth that there is the one for me out there, because I've grown, and that's the nature of being alive, is like you grow in a direction. So when you find the next person that brings you that kind of passion, you're going to be a totally different guy. And there's going to be somebody else out there that's not like that dork that you left. I didn't like her to begin with. When you were dating her, I honestly didn't like her.
Jacqueline, do you have any thoughts for him?
Well, are you sure that she's... I mean, I thought it was going towards, and so I might reach out to her again or something like that. Is that just not an option? Or
no, we're still like friends and friendly. Like we still talk every once in a while. It's not that I would want to get back with her necessarily. I think Moshe is right that the reason the breakup happened is because our lives are going into very different directions. It's mostly I'm just like wondering if there's like a time frame on when I'll get over that, and when somebody new can like still fill that void, I guess. Because I've been dating people. It just hasn't felt anywhere similar to that level.
How old are you, and how long have you been apart from this woman?
I'm 28, and it's been a little over a year.
Well, I got married to Moshe at 40.
Right. Yeah, I don't know.
Time limits are just in your head.
Yeah, and the cool thing about growing is that you're growing in one direction, and there's a person, you're growing in the band One Direction, and Zayn Malik is waiting to meet you on that path. But no, you're growing in one direction, and when you go down the path that your life is taking you, that you're going to meet a person that's down the path somewhere that's ready to meet you when you're ready to meet them. I mean, I don't believe in magic, but I believe in like development, and like it just takes what it takes. Like, yeah, I would say I've had 4 women in my life that were interesting to me. I don't mean that. That sounded really horrible.
No.
What I mean romantically tantalizing to me. And I got married when I was 37. So there isn't a timeline. I don't know why. It reminds me of the story I once heard. This woman, she got married to a man that was 15 years younger than her, or 20 years younger than her. And she was saying, she was telling the story, she kept praying. Her whole life was in order except her romantic life, and she kept praying to God, and she was like, God, why won't you send me love? Why won't you send me love? God, please send me love. And then finally, when she was like 50, she found this like 35-year-old and married this like hot piece of young ass. And the way she told it was that God was the whole time answering back going, will you give me a minute? He's 4 years old right now.
Well, I think that,
So I need to find a hot young piece of ass.
Yeah, you need to find somebody 15 to 20 years younger than you.
Just have to realize you're very young. Hang in there. And, you're going to meet someone, especially if you take take the experiences from the last relationship and try to make a better relationship.
You might even realize that, the bar that you're holding this future person to, you might realize later, because you mentioned the romance and the passion of this previous thing, you might look back on that and go, oh, that was nothing. I didn't know what love was.
I didn't know what passion could truly
absolutely. When I met Jaqueline, right, I've been married, I lived with somebody else after that, and then I met Jaqueline, we did a show together, and it was just like, I just looked over, I was like, holy fucking shit. This is I never felt like that before, and I think anything else is like a waste of time.
That's pretty fascinating. Like you're saying that what you thought was marriage love and passion move-in love, you had a moment in your future where it was like, oh, none of that was this.
Those were women who were willing to have sex with me. and this was something else.
And I would like to say one more thing is that the only time in my life where I've ever looked at someone and like time stopped, it happened to me once in my life, and he ended up being a con artist who took all my money.
Oh, my God.
And I moved to Australia with him when I was like 22, and he was 43, 20 years old.
Amazing.
That is so true.
I remember, like, I heard music.
Right,
I mean, it was, and so that's not always real.
No.
This is a rough way to find out that wasn't me, but but it is true. Like that feeling of like, oh my God, is sometimes is chemical.
Yeah.
And it's not emotional, and it's not based in anything real. Although you guys were together 9 years, so you guys got...
We moved in together
that
like
was
the next day.
Yeah, right. But
is that true?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The next day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You saw each other... Jack, hold on a minute. You saw each other at a show and moved... Who moved in with who?
I was living with my ex-girlfriend.
Did you feel it?
I moved in with Jacqueline.
She needed a place to stay, obviously.
Did you feel the thunderbolt?
There was
That's
a
what
weird,
Mario
there was a
Puzo
weird
calls the
thing.
thunderbolt in The Godfather.
Oh, my God.
Like when we first kissed the next night, then it was like we both had to take a moment and we're like, this is fucking weird.
There was something very weird about it. It was weird. There was a vibe.
Right. He kissed. I think I remember hearing this story. He kissed you. You looked him in the eyes, and you grabbed his cheeks and said, "Back the fuck off." Is that right?
And he loved it then.
And he stayed around for 9 years. Jack, I think that the other bit of advice I have for you is like, I think people put too much stock in this like feeling, like magic feeling. Like it's really fun to be single. So just enjoy being single until you don't enjoy being single anymore. Then your heart or your psyche will open up to finding somebody else. You'll find somebody.
Yeah, fuck that girl.
Fuck her, man. Just go to a comedy show in New York and see if someone like Jacqueline does a set. Oh, you got to start doing comedy yourself.
Yeah.
And you got to be good at it too. And get married and then move in with somebody else and then go to New York and it'll happen for you.
Good luck.
That's perfect. I love all of that.
Good luck out there, Jack.
Thank you.
All right.
I think we helped him.
Yeah, but wait.
He was just pining.
I can't believe we didn't get to your origin story until this late in the game. This is amazing. So can we do a 5-minute version of just like what happened there?
Yeah. We did a show at this place, Holiday Cocktail Lounge, this shitty dive bar.
I love the movie Moonstruck, okay?
Sure.
Oh.
And there was a show that I was going to do that in some way involved John Patrick Shanley, who wrote it, okay? He was in no way there, but his name was somewhere related to something, the venue. So that's kind of why I did it. I was like, I'll do it. Maybe is he going to be there? Whatever. That's why I agreed to do the show where I ran into someone who booked me on the show with you. So I do sort of put a romantic thing to my love of Moonstruck, leading to us being at the Holiday Cocktail Lounge on whatever, in the East Village, right?
Yeah.
Wait, where did the people at Moonstruck work? At a pizzeria, didn't they? You know, New York.
Yes.
Pizza, huh?
Oh, no, it's very, when the moon hits your eye.
Yeah.
It's very romantic. You've seen it, haven't you?
I think I've seen it.
It's sensational. Anyway, we do a show. We're smoking cigarettes outside, right?
Jacqueline, did you feel the thunderbolt
Oh,
when
yeah,
you saw
no,
Chris? It was
Not
mutual
when I
and
saw
instant?
him. It was like...
It wasn't like it was
I went over. He's like quiet. He's smoking. It's sort of attractive to me because he's not like, I don't know, trying to get attention or something, you know, like, and I had gone into this bar, gotten a drink, knowing that, and hadn't said that I was a comedian on the show. And in my mind, I didn't realize this till after I'd performed. On some level, I had expected a change in the bartender, okay, to occur from having realized I was on the show, like almost like, and being like, would you like anything? Like, I don't know. Like, I was expecting the bartender to be like blown away by my set. And like, and so I felt like a letdown when there just was no change. You know what I mean?
And he was probably doing it on purpose.
Yeah. Like he wasn't giving it to me. And not like I thought he was cute or something. Literally just the basic, like you're not just a person, you're on the show. And so I shared this with Chris because I feel like this is my move, like unconsciously, like with like, I'm like at a talk at a quiet person. And so I like divulge because there's like a wall. And so I like divulge against the wall, you know? So I'm like,
but you're busy like being in love because you saw her on stage and you've been in love all night.
No.
I wasn't in love just yet.
We had met once before, like a year before or something.
Yeah, we met, but we hadn't talked really. And I was like, I thought, you know, whatever. And then, but when...
It wasn't my best set.
When you said, you were good.
Seems like it worked out pretty good. You got a development deal out of it.
I thought, you know, it's good or whatever. I wasn't really thinking, you know, I'm just like that because it was like battle conditions in this bar.
Yeah,
and it was a shitty show. And I'm just smoking cigarettes outside. And then, you know, I was kind of had my eyes. And then you said that. And then I was like, oh, that's, yeah.
You liked that I divulged it.
Yeah,
and then I talked about I had done the master cleanse recently because I was like, this is like a day before I moved back into New York City after like convalescing in depression at my parents' house for some time. So I was like, I'd done the master cleanse and I was telling Chris a story about doing that. And when I went off the cleanse at this weird road show and I went and I got this Chinese food and it was like this big heavy bag. And I brought it back to the hotel room and like popping the staples of the bag, like just like the sheer after 8 days of not, you know, eating. And like, I feel like you me talking about the heaviness of the Chinese food bag was big for you.
I related. I really related to that because and so that was big. Because when we had to sit and watch this, there was
someone came out and yelled at us for not supporting the other acts on the show.
Oh, I've been there.
Yeah.
And I'm my least favorite.
So while we were sitting there, that's when I looked over and I saw Jack. Looked at her and I was like, yeah. That was the exact words that came into my head was like, oh yeah, that's going to be a while.
It's so shocking.
So she came over. She said, I was just rejected by this other guy. I have like some gastrointestinal issues and probably heavy diarrhea from this Chinese meal. And you were like, I'm sticking around.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful story.
And then the next night, we, I told you to go home and watch that Lars von Trier show, Kingdom, and you looked up Castle with, it's a very different show. Anyway, and then with what's his name from Firefly, and then Nathan Fillion, and then the next day we met at another show, and I was gonna move into my apartment the next morning, and so it was very like the Woody Allen, like, I feel like it's Annie Hall line, like, we should kiss before we eat kind of thing so that we can enjoy our meal. It was like, you said something like that.
Well, because we got in your car, you were going to give me a ride home.
Right.
And then I was like, we kind of acknowledged that we liked each other, and we were like holding hands, but we didn't want to make out in front of cabin where this show was going on.
Can you imagine anything more vulgar?
Oh, now I have a full mental picture of it.
It's heinous to think that Cabin was involved.
I think Cabin was involved with a lot of things in that period.
A woman once, speaking of diarrhea, a woman once walked in on me in the bathroom shitting.
Oh, yeah.
And I was so embarrassed that I gave her my drink ticket. Just because she was at the show. I was like, you want to go get a drink or something?
Yeah, Wait, no locks on those bathrooms.
How does she end up living with you, though?
No, because then we go to car. I said we should kiss now. And it could be not when you drop me off. And so then we just start making out.
But then it starts pouring rain, right?
Pouring rain.
Literally pouring.
And you're running. It's New Year's Eve. You're running to her. Yeah. You haven't talked in a while. And you're running to her to tell her that you just want to. When you think about the rest of your life.
He loves the way my forehead wrinkles when I tell a lie or whatever.
It's like everything. And she's a 17-year-old, and you're an 42-year-old English professor, and you're just kind of like breaking that taboo. This is the plot to I Love You, Daddy? Is that
right? I was friends with her father.
So we're in the car. So it starts raining. Instead of going back to the burbs,
I said, why don't we just hang out all night?
We hang out all night, first in the car, because it's pouring. The driving is like,
what if this whole story
bad.
was one of the interstitials in When Harry Met Sally, by the way? Just the entire thing.
Wait,
what was happening? We were in cabin. I shit in the cabin.
Yeah.
Wait.
The best one.
But then we stayed together all night, drove around, and then got the keys. Jacqueline got the keys to her new apartment in Brooklyn, and I just slept there for the next year, and then we just
9 years later. You know what they call that? Amore.
Oh my God.
That's amore. That's what that is.
Wait, but did she invite you to spend the night forever, or like was she like, do you want to move in?
I'll tell you exactly. So
you go.
We drive over in the morning. The guy's like Windexing the remains of the apartment. We get the key. We go and we're very tired because we had been up all night. We got some packing boxes and like some sheets around the corner and sort of like napped on the floor. Mm-hmm. And then it was like later in the day. And it was sort of like you had to go do something.
I had to go do a show on Staten Island.
Oh, yeah. Not that he, unrelated happened to. And then I said, like, do you want to almost like come back? Like that kind of thing. Like almost like. And before I said anything, I was like, so do you want to? And he just goes, yes.
That's cute.
Isn't that sweet?
It is sweet.
He's such a passionate man.
You guys, I like you guys.
And then he stayed.
And then it was like,
it was very romantic. We watched television on a small iPad. A very small iPad on my single chair, my single IKEA.
That's so beautiful. They had iPads 9 years ago. That's the most beautiful part.
It's actually shocking.
Of this whole story.
It's shocking.
You guys remind me of us, but we don't have as passionate a meet cute. I like this. Natasha, you have perfect teeth.
I did have braces as a child, but thank you.
And I have teeth that could be described as...
Your worst quality?
Having character is what I was going to say. But maybe you don't want that much character in your life. Or maybe you want a new wife. Well, Candid can't help you with that, but it can help you with your teeth. Candids Aligners help straighten your teeth faster and cheaper than traditional wire braces. Treatment takes just 6 months on average and costs 65% less.
An experienced orthodontist who is licensed in your state creates a custom treatment plan. Then they show you a 3D preview so you can see how your teeth will look after they're done.
Candids Aligners are comfortable, removable, and completely invisible.
There's no hassle of going to an orthodontist's office, and they ship your aligners directly to you.
And in this season of giving, Candid's donating $25 with each aligner to Smile Train, which brings safe, 100% free cleft palate and palate treatment to kids around the world. So, give yourself the gift of Candid. Go to candidco.com/honeymoon and use code honeymoon to get $75 off.
That's candidco.com/honeymoon. Honeymoon enter code honeymoon for $75 off. candidco.com/honeymoon, code honeymoon.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to get the worst part of me fixed, and I'm going to find me a new life.
All right, let's listen to some secrets.
Hi, guys. So this is something that I have never told anyone, and it's because I'm sure that if I did, people would take it the wrong way. But ever since I first started having sexual feelings, I have been having recurring sex dreams about my brother. And I think it's totally crazy. I obviously don't want to have sex with my brother. But I've never told anyone because people think that dreams have meanings, and I personally think that dreams are meaningless, and it's a total fluke. So anyway, that's all.
Yeah, that's nothing. I once had a dream that I was getting a blowjob from my dog, and then I looked down and it was my best friend. It was my male best friend.
I think that's totally all.
Just like nothing.
Yeah, like, I mean, particularly if you go, Jungian with it, it's like all just parts of your psyche. I have this memory of reading a Dear Abby column that said, what do you think people's actual deepest, darkest thing that they wouldn't want to reveal to somebody is for all people? And she said, your dreams, because you have no control over the thing. But yeah, I've fucked my mom in a dream or two. Natasha?
I think I fucked my mom or something weird was happening.
It's
not recurring.
That happened to me when
That's
I was
true. It's the recurring word.
Yeah,
the first time that happens, though,
true.
it really did it fuck you. It fucked me
yeah,
up.
I
was like, I don't know if I can live. I honestly, I had like
After what?
I was
dream
like,
about your mother?
I was like 17. And I had like a sex dream. It was like, the thing that turns into whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, my mom's hot and shit, but,
Sure.
but no, she's not. She's unattractive woman. But, but it like turns into whatever. And then you wake up and you got to live with it.
Yeah.
And it was I remember it being very traumatizing.
I think dreams
I think it's pretty normal. What I will advise you strongly is to never try to turn that dream into reality, because I did that with my mom, and it was very awkward. I mean, honestly, the relationship got affected.
Well, it can't live up to the hype.
Yeah, that's right. Let's play another one.
Hi, Moshe. Hi, Natasha. I'm a huge fan of yours.
Thank you.
So the secret isn't necessarily even mine, but I was there and witnessed this. I would say I was in the 3rd grade, and I was at a sleepover with one of my best friends at the time. And one day, I went to the bathroom, and I came back into her room, and it was late. It was 11 p.m. for kids. And I walked in on her, and I didn't realize what was going on at the time. She had her dog eating her out. And she was trying to convince me to have this happen to me, but I just knew. I was like, that's so weird and strange. And now I think about this every now and then, that she has to live with the fact that her dog ate her out when she was in the 3rd grade. All right. Thanks, guys.
See, this is what happens when you try to take that dream and turn it into a reality. Right. It's much more awkward than you thought it would be.
Now, I'm not pro bestiality. But is it just illegal because it's gross? Because I don't feel like the dog is hurt.
It doesn't hurt the dog.
Yeah.
And the dog, I think it's an upgrade.
Well, this is literally... Why? Because they don't have to fuck a dog?
You're fucking up the food chain.
I
think they want to fuck all of us if they could.
The food chain doesn't work like that. You don't want to fuck the apex predator. You just want to get away from it. Oh, man.
I think it's pretty good.
Wait, I'm sorry. This girl was in third grade.
Third grade.
Well, he shouldn't be doing. The dog shouldn't be doing that.
I mean, I almost feel like it's in the observer here, the caller, right? They're the ones sort of making it
sexual,
right?
Like,
making making it a dirty thing all these years later.
I came in and the dog was eating her out. Like that almost implies a sexual intentionality of the dog. Like, you know what I mean? Like the dog was going down on her.
Yeah,
like,
she's just eating her
versus
out
just
so
like the
hard.
dog was licking.
Well, I mean, it sounded like what she was saying was this was a ritual that this
and she was inviting her friend to do it too.
I mean, this is some like third grade eyes wide shut type of shit. It's definitely
third grade is very young.
Well, the kids always want to get everybody else in on it.
Yeah, and you're doing weird shit when you're young and playing around. Yeah, that's pretty intense, but you know what? It's also cultural. Like that's just a British thing. Like, do you read some of the forbidden chapters of Peter Pan? Nana used to she used to fuck all those kids. You don't know about that, Natasha?
Oh, right. No. Nana was the dog.
Nana was their dog and their nanny and their lover.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Should we play one more?
Yeah, these are good.
Hey, my secret is that I post online complaining about my mother-in-law, but I do it pretending to be my sister-in-law, so that this way, if anybody were to see the post and be like, that kind of sounds like so-and-so's mother, they would be able to look at the details of the post and think that it's actually my husband's brother's wife complaining about our mutual mother-in-law, because, fuck her too. Anyway, feels good to get that off my chest, guys.
Stay off Facebook.
Yeah.
Seriously, I mean, I thought the dog eating the child out was gnarly. This is like an evil person. She's like, I'm gonna not only do I hate my mother-in-law, I'm gonna ruin her relationship with her daughter.
But is it just? It sounds like it's like she's going to get help to complain on forums, and she's just covering.
It's not on Facebook?
Like advice for a friend?
It's got to be Facebook.
It's got to be. And how does...
Wow.
Why do people... It's like when people get in trouble for Facebook posts, it's just like, couldn't you just be racist in your garage? Like, can't you... Yeah. Like, why do you got to complain? It's like people need to put it out there. They need public record of their grievances.
Yeah. Everybody wants to broadcast their life. It's so weird also to me, kind of related, when... it's so funny to me when white people are being racist and then someone takes a camera to the situation.
Yeah.
Like if I was racist and the camera came out, I'd be like, seems like we've had a misunderstanding. Have a nice day and walk away. But people are like, they're so committed.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, it's such a crazy thing to like be like, oh, the video camera's here? Now I'm really going to go for it.
That's when they say, go ahead and film this. Oh, it gets good.
That's the tipping point.
Go ahead and film this because I'm about to be unemployed.
Do we have one more, Laura?
Yeah, let's do one more.
Because I didn't even understand that question.
This woman is on Facebook complaining about her mother-in-law, but her account says that she's her sister-in-law, so the other.
But why do you complain about your mother-in-law in a public forum?
I see you haven't been on my Facebook page. All right, let's play one more.
Hello. I would like to get something off my chest. I used to work at Starbucks, and there was a bar nearby that I'd go and have drinks at. And one of the bartenders would always pour very light alcoholic beverages. The bare minimum alcohol would go into these drinks. So when he would come into Starbucks, I would jump into the coffee making line, and I would pour decaf shots.
Oh, wow. That's incredible.
I feel like it was very nefarious. And, I feel pretty good about getting off my chest. Thank you.
I love that.
Oh, my God. That's so good.
That's so much better than what I would have just spit in the coffee.
That's disgusting,
Oh,
Chris.
I just love that
I used to
guy.
work at Friendly's. I spit in a few fribbles.
Is that true?
Yeah.
So people really do. I thought it was an urban legend.
I can't believe I live with this man.
Oh, man.
I also...
That is not amore.
It only happened a couple times. But it was because I had long hair, and they made me pin it up, like really long hair, and they made me pin it up and wrap behind my head. And sometimes like douches would like make fun of it, and then
ponytail. They'd yell ponytail.
What's the name?
No, because it was pinned up. I had to put it in like a bun.
Friendlies, Chris.
Friendly.
It's called Friendlies.
Friendlies, yeah.
Friendlies, and you went the opposite direction.
Yeah.
Well, he thought it meant it got to be friendly to you.
That's right. Wait, this is Friendlies. You don't talk to me like that here.
But for the most part. Everybody got. I was generous in my ice cream.
I am obsessed with petty victories like that.
I don't think I try to get those.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good instinct, but I do love them. There was one guy that Natasha paid money to come do something on landscaping.
Yeah.
And he took the deposit and then just was like, fuck off, and never came back. And I really do want to, and I might still do it years later. I want to call him and say, hey, man, I got this landscaping project out in Pacoima. Can you come meet me at 7 a.m. and just have a teeny little victory? Or there's one more. I remember I was driving in and I was going to go park at this bank, and this woman swooped in and took the space, and I was like sort of shaking like you, Chris. I was just like, what are you doing? She's like ignoring me, and I just as she got out of the car, I go, I'm gonna key that car. I'm gonna go around the corner. I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna key the fuck out of your car. And I drove up, and she walked into the bank like, oh, you fucking try it. And I just knew in my heart. I drove away, of course.
Yeah.
But I just knew in my heart there was no way she would be comfortable that entire time she was in the bank.
Yes.
I was ruining her experience.
That's very interesting. I mean, literally the power of an empty threat, right?
That's right.
Like there's a reason to be able to give them. You get a little something.
And I remember I said it just like that.
Wow.
I'm gonna key that car like just a little hood to it.
I think I'm very Christian in my values. Sorry,
right?
I know I converted to Judaism, but I just don't really feel that need to have revenge.
Right.
Oh, I had this boss that tried to get me fired. I was a PA on this TV show, as an office PA, and this production manager tried to get me fired. I forget for what. It was. I didn't do nothing wrong. He was a real. I didn't get fired. So he had these pretzels that he had to keep in his office. I had to make sure they were there.
Disgusting.
So when he wasn't in the office, I took one of those pretzels and I rubbed it on my balls and my asshole, threw it back in the bag.
I'm so ashamed.
I still see his name come up in the credits of shows, and I laugh every fucking time.
I'll tell you what's beautiful about that story to me is that you rubbed it on your balls, you looked at the pretzel, and you thought, no, not enough. And then just poked it in your asshole a little bit. Threw it in.
No, it's so disgusting. I literally can't believe he proudly tells this.
I am proud of you for doing it. I'm proud of that guy for the decaf thing.
And I'm proud of your relationship.
Yeah.
9 years, that's longer than we've been married and together.
My God.
That's a long
I
time.
think, and the idea that a thunderbolt relationship turned into something deep and meaningful is that's pretty cool. I think that's pretty awesome.
You're an inspiration.
Inspiration to kids everywhere. Go see Jacqueline at the
Lucille Lortel. I should say, I don't think we ever said the name of the show, which is Get on Your Knees and GetOnYourKneesShow.com for tickets.
GetOnYourKneesShow.com. Go see it. Honestly, it was
Chris, are you going to be anywhere?
It stuck with me. Yeah. So go see it. Yeah, Chris, you going anywhere?
I'm going to be in Texas in January.
That's a good little
I'm going to be
at
the Amphibian Theater in Fort Worth, Texas in January.
Okay. Go to ChrisLaker.
Yeah, go to ChrisLaker.com or just my Twitter or whatever.
Find
it's all Chris
him on
Laker.
Twitter. You guys, thank you very much. Thanks for coming.
Thanks
you
for
two.
having
it was
us.
really
What a
awesome to have
pleasure.
you.
Yeah, thanks.
Our pleasure. Natasha?
Yeah.
Love you.
Oh, I love you too. And thanks for listening to the Endless Honeymoon podcast. If it's late where you are and you're having trouble sleeping, be sure to check out Calm.
That's right. Calm.com and get your sleep on tonight.